Cool. So I think that what happens now is during one of your communiques, Petrov, you send back to Vi that I assume that you told them about Farron, and then you were told that they were looking for it. Like, they told you, we'll search for him. Maybe he was somewhere else in the city, and I assume you gave him his name, right, Petrov, if they asked you that?
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mentioned Farron earlier.
Yeah. So I think that you probably relay the message back that, they're looking for Farron, to keep him in relative safety. But also, you probably get the impression, Petrov, that since he's, the missing link, it's reasonable to assume perhaps he was an inside man. And so, because Farron hasn't turned up in quite a few days, it's kind of I wonder if he blew town. And, maybe he caused this. They're getting a bit suspicious of people that are not in presence, under the umbrella that they have, right?
Right, okay.
So I assume you relay that to Vi, maybe Farron should come in and do the whole thing.
Sleep with one of the paladins.
I just had a
sound like a solution.
I just had a horrible thought, but it might have been better. Dang it! I wish she was talking to me.
It's okay.
So, Vi, when you receive that word, and you probably have noticed too, maybe there's been a couple flyers up. They're not wanted posters, but have you seen this man? And it's probably got a crude outline and it says Farron Mackay, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think Vi the first one she saw, I think she would have taken it down, and then when she got back, just kind of laid it in Farron's lap.
Sure, yeah.
So, what are we gonna do about this?
I think the iteration of the one that you grabbed was wanted for questioning by the Holy Temple of Sigmar.
Vi probably would have just said, "So now your head's on the chopping block too."
For fuck's sake. I've had it up to here with these blooded Knights of Sigmar.
This one got your likeness pretty good, though, unlike the other one I saw.
Right, because they would all technically be different.
Slightly different, yeah. And I'm holding it up to his face.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just being a total asshole about it. And then I probably would have said, Petrov wanted you, I think, to maybe come in, show, save face.
Turn yourself in.
I don't know. I hear that in my head, and I'm like, what the
Yeah, what the hell?
I'm wait a minute, and all of a sudden Petrov can send you. Anyway, yeah. So I would have told you that and said that Petrov probably thought that you should come in.
Well, I mean, I would, but what's to say that you two don't just skip town as soon as my back is turned?
Trust me, if we were going to leave, we would have been gone by now.
Way gone.
At this point, it seems as though Petrov could be in trouble if you don't. Which is more important to you? Us potentially leaving, or Petrov?
When you put it like that, I don't give a two lats about you two.
Vi just kind of nods and doesn't take really offense to that at all. And she's like, see, my point.
That
I
is
will.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I just kind of say, well, then, and I kind of take an apple out of my sack and hand it to him and be like, for the road, then.
Farron lets out a heavy sigh and just says, give me a few moments. And he kind of goes into a small corner and pulls out a small little mirror and his razor and actually tries to look somewhat presentable.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
That is awesome.
Vi could help you, but she's not going to.
Yeah, absolutely. That seems like too much work.
I mean, dead man walking, so why bother, right? But
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so you eventually get shaved, and it's an okay job. You didn't do the best at it, but you're not gonna look like a
You're not scum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you begin to head off. So I mean, like the real question is, like, you guys don't actually leave, right?
silence.
Right. Yeah,
Brilliant.
that seems reasonable. So you head off to the Sigmar Temple, and upon your arrival, you obviously do you like introduce yourself or whatever?
I am Fallon McCabe. It appears you have been looking for me.
Yep, and I think that the group of them, there's like somebody like that you talk to, and they kind of look at their friend, and then they're like, oh yeah, like, oh yeah, come with us. The paladins wish to speak with you. And I think that, yeah, as you like enter in, you're greeted by an escort of multiple people, and you're walked to that war room, and you meet Commander Garfield, and he's having a meeting with someone else that you don't recognize. But roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Nice. Cool. So I think that you notice that this individual, it's a robed figure, and they have a hood on their robe, and the hood is completely off, and their head is shaved bald. And as they turn, you notice that their eyes are like this bright blue, and they have like he's got like 4 red dots right in the middle of his forehead. 2 and 2, right above each other.
The Krillin.
And he nods. He's got his hands like folded inside of his robe, and he nods, and he walks out, and his posture is of one that of someone who is extremely physically fit as he exits.
As soon as you said blue eyes, I'm immediately scared.
Yeah.
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I felt that too. I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
Because I was the only one who thought of Aryan Nazi over here, but that's just me.
Jeez.
Oh man, that's how you know you created a good enemy. When you're not even talking about him, but then your players totally just make him up out of nowhere. That's fantastic. I love it. I love everything about it. It is not Wolfsbane. I'll let you guys know that right now.
Okay.
Or whatever that creature was called, Delilah. Although I will mention Delilah still exists.
I
Hey
know.
there, Delaney.
She's still hunting down Rocco, who's got his best buddy Melchior with him.
Yep. Delilah still exists in the world somewhere. No, but also the figure looks distinctly foreign. In fact, if I were to say anything, typically humans in the part of the or like the Empire and surrounding areas, very very Caucasian, European, Eastern European, Western European, from like down in like the pirate lands, like down here-ish, like below Bretonia. The Spanish and Portuguese influences there, and then obviously the Middle Eastern influences from down in this area. But I mean, if I were to put like a real world race, he looks Asian, right? He's very clearly like of Asian descent, which I don't even know if Farron would like recognize that. He looks probably alien to you.
Yeah, I've spent all my life within Empire lands. So
Yeah, right. And, there's also a very, strong barrier for not going past Empire lands called the World's Edge Mountains, which are nigh impossible to cross, and if you do, then you're immediately in giant and ogre territory. So, it's kind of a big deal. But yeah, and then as you enter in, Commander Garfield stands up and he takes a drink from a flagon that he's got, and he looks at you and he says, Farron, you must be the assistant of Petrov, yes?
That I am.
He's like, we've been trying to track you for some time. You are no slob at hiding in plain sight, it appears.
Well, one of the benefits Petrov has hired me for.
He nods and he says, so, my question to you, are you aware of the incident that occurred?
Somewhat. There was the great blazing going on at our residence. I assumed it was another assassination attempt on my lady.
Yeah, I think he says, he's like, yes, we've been hearing a lot about assassination attempts as of late. It is concerning, to say the least. What have you to say on the matter?
Well, I was, at the time the fire was set ablaze, I was investigating a possible lead on possible hideout for some of these assassins.
He nods and he says, yes, this band of assassins, and this lead, did you find anything?
I thought I did, but of course when the fire erupted, I had to quickly make haste, as being on my own, I didn't want to be singled out if there was a coup on our group going on.
He kind of nods and he says, a coup? Do you believe that's this to be the job of an inside man?
Well, I'm sure these assassins know of our party's composition, and certainly taking out Mirella on her own would not be quite so hard, but with an entire group is a lot more challenging.
He nods and he says, yes, and 'tis the four of you then, out to track down this band of assassins, slaughter them.
Yes, more for our own sake, of course.
He goes, yeah, I think he nods and he goes, for glory then.
Well, certainly cleaning up some of the rabble that's been causing nefarious deeds would certainly gain a point to Mirella's standing.
He kind of nods and he says, yes, sometimes we all get ideas that no one else should be involved when it comes to these matters. But now you have put, well, frankly, the entire city in jeopardy with your machinations. Had we known about this sooner, we could have provided assistance, but at this point I have no choice but to be suspicious of all of these going-ons within the city. You must understand, of course.
Why, of course, but we assumed that such divine beings as yourself would be more concerned with the darker corruptions of chaos within the city than a simple band of human assassins.
It does not seem like they are one and the same now, though. Does it not?
Upon hindsight, maybe, but certainly at the time you can of course, gather our intentions.
He just nods and kind of remains silent. He's kind of like silently evaluating you, and like your posture and procedure, and like how you're wording. He's evaluating you as a human, essentially, or yeah, human. We'll just go with human. And yeah, he kind of like he probably nods for a moment and he says, Farron McCabe, do you consider yourself an honorable man?
Well, apart from unfortunate upbringings, I believe that I have done good in my adult life.
He kind of he evaluates you again. He says, yes, I suspect as much. We all attempt to do good, but sometimes it can evade us. Well, I should have you know that we've sent for inquisitors from the capital. They'll be here in, well, on a fast ship if they took one, perhaps 3 more days. We'll be informing the others, and we'll have to hold you here so that they can question you. I hope that is not a issue.
Of course not. I imagine such things.
He nods, kind of like as politely as he's allowed, and he says, yes, well, we'll set you up with provisions in a room. Men, and he, motions for them to take you away.
Thank you for your time, Your Grace.
Yeah, and I think that, he eventually passes along the message to everyone. Now, I want all 6 of you, actually. I'll just go with all 6, because I assume you would pass along the information, Arkady. All 6 of you roll me a religion check.
Flat D20.
Yeah, Hannibal. Yeah, Petrov. Alright, so here's the deal. Probably the most appropriate people. I don't think a 13's high enough. So...
Rip.
Yeah, so for the purposes of Petrov and Hannibal, Inquisitors are not the people that you want ever to be summoned or ever to question you about anything. Because the equivalent of a Empire Inquisitor is basically the torture master. They're the people you call when you need to extract information about every single memory anyone's ever had in their entire life. Because they have the capability of doing that. Evading and double-talking them is nigh impossible. Because if they suspect you to be lying, they'll just continue to torture you. And if they suspect you to be telling the truth, they'll just continue to torture you until they can be sure. They are probably the least moral individuals in the entire retinue of the Temple of Sigmar. But it's kind of like the philosophy of them, and the reason why they're allowed to exist is fight fire with fire. When you're dealing with forces that have no care for you, you need to have forces that have no care for anyone else. So it's kind of a bad deal all around. If Inquisitors actually are on their way, and if you guys have to meet them. Now, if you suspect that they will find you innocent, then great. You can withstand whatever they're going to do, or if they feel the need to even investigate you. But if you have any sneaking suspicion that things may go awry, it's not a great position to be in, to say the least. So
we're all screwed.
Yeah, and I think that Farron or like Arkady and Hannibal, like you probably pick up when you're told by Commander Garfield himself. It's almost an apologetic tone that he provides to you. Like it's almost like a I'm really sorry about this, but we had to summon the Inquisitors. This is beyond my scope of being able to handle. Etc. Etc.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, that sucks.
Yeah, it certainly does suck. That's for sure.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I have to roll about this, but diplomatic immunity?
I mean, it's not really a thing, but if they assume that they will cause an incident with like another like country by using their Inquisitors on you, they probably won't do it. Like they do have boundaries that they would like uphold, and that would definitely be one of them, for sure. I think that's a good like card to play for you, saying like, hey,
I have state secrets, and it would be an incident if you were to start rummaging around in my head.
Exactly, yes. I think that is a reasonable thing that could be done in your, let's say, defense.
Would I know with the 20 if they employ magical means or if it's just straight torture?
Both. Any way they can get their information.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Any possible way that they can obtain their information is how they do it.
Okay.
Farron's regretting his choice to come in.
Probably. If you knew really about what Inquisitors do or what they are, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I'm sure I'll share that with him.
Yeah. So I think that...
From your separate room.
Yeah. So I think that there's probably, when they're telling you this, they also tell you that when they arrive, all of you are going to be brought to like the main hall to give your stories again to the Inquisitors, at least initially. And they also said, like, if there's anything you need to take care of or anything you need to, like, any messages you need to send, like, let us know.
Who are your next of kin?
Yeah. It's kind of like this subtle, like, hey, get your affairs in order because this isn't going to be pretty.
So I think one of the first questions that Petrov is going to ask, he's going to try to be delicate about this, but he is going to want to know what exactly they think that Lady Fairheart or the ambassador of Kislev might be hiding from them.
Right.
In these circumstances.
I think that is a reasonable assumption. And I think, when you say that, Commander Garfield probably, like, he probably looks down a little bit and he furrows his brow and he says, well, to be fair, it is... let me be plain. I do not suspect any of you of any wrongdoing in any of these incidents. However, it was a bit out of my hands when we have demons appearing in the streets of Nuln and explosions and possible dwarf involvement. I could not stay my hand. I had to summon them. I will tell you, I am putting in a good word. I will tell them that you are not of suspicion, but have information that may be valuable to them. They have methods of extracting information, and as long as individuals are compliant, they have no need to use their more forceful terms.
I think, basically the angle that Arkady is pushing here is, why exactly do you think you need to extract information? We've given statements, we'll be happy to give written statements, or whatever else they want. If he just wants to talk inside a zone of truth, I'm sure we can handle that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure we can all handle that, but I'm sure that I and Morella can handle that, and we're the important ones.
Yeah, so...
No, I can handle it too.
I think that,
Y'all fucked, because I can't.
I think that, that he probably says to you, And, like, yeah, I think that he probably takes that as, like, you're probably saying it in a way like, oh, you guys are perfectly capable of doing the job, like, why do we need to escalate it?
It does seem like overkill.
Yeah, and so I think what he does is he actually turns to the two individuals that are, like, the two paladins that are in the room with him, and he motions for them to leave the room. And they, snap a salute, and they walk out. And he, like, motions for you to sit down in, like, one of the chairs that's in the room. And so I assume you hop up on the chair. And, and
sit up is more like, but yeah.
Yeah, right. And he, like, grabs another chair that's in the room, and he sits down on it, and he says, Petrov, Arkady, if I can.
Please do.
Let's me be very clear. When it comes to chaos, I am no coward. But information is vital in these times. It is not that I do not trust myself or my men, nor do I disbelieve all of what you and your companions are saying, but there is a disturbing presence in the city, and if anyone knows how to root it out, it is them. Let me be clear, I'm not specifically calling them to address you because I believe you of lying. I am simply calling them because what is going on in the city and the Empire as a whole cannot be allowed to continue. It must be quelled here and now.
I agree completely, naturally, but surely there are more effective uses of a capable warrior such as Lady Fairheart or her attendants than to simply leave us in the delicate care of Imperial Inquisitors.
He kind of he nods and he says, oh, perhaps I was unclear. They are coming to address you, for sure, just to ensure that the information, perhaps, I cannot say that you have not been blocked by magical means. The forces of chaos that we deal with are none too kind. And of another, it is not that we will not use and utilize your capabilities. In fact, I have full plans on using Lady Fairheart and the rest of your group, should you comply, to assist us in this matter. This is not one of suspicion. In fact, I am having you all moved to a more suitable conditions for people of your station. I apologize that you were forced to stay here, but you understand the consequences and what we have done and what needs to be done here.
We're going in the secret dungeon, aren't we?
No, he sounds sincere when he's saying to you, like, I intend to, put you guys up in a nicer room, like, get you guys together, like, not, he's being a lot more candid with you right now than he has been in any of your dealings with him in the past, 5 or 6 days or whatever. Because he is trying to be, like, it's very clear he's trying to be, like, transparent with you.
Okay. That's heartening, at least. I do feel like this means I'm going to need to start strategizing so that we can figure out who exactly might get dragged in by the Inquisitors and who it's going to implicate if they do, because I may not have had the chance to talk to Hannibal, but I feel like he's going to have trouble with this one. Like, Morella can, I don't want to say play stupid, because she's not. She can play blunt.
Right.
Hannibal, I feel like he's going to try to be clever, and I say this because I bought him a chemistry set and he blew up our house.
Right.
And I feel like if Hannibal gets implied, then, again, we're going in the secret dungeon.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir, they call it the special dungeon?
That's not better.
Yeah. So, I think that, like he... Do you say anything else, like, directly to him?
No, I don't. Okay, I just make it clear that sort of like, oh, good, we would be happy to get back on the case of actually finding these people. I think that would be a lot more useful.
Yeah,
we're grateful for your protection, but we don't want to just hide out here while there are forces of evil to be quelched.
And I think it definitely has come across to you that, like, the reason that they are most upset is that they were uninformed. Like that's the primary reason why things are just like going, like things have gone as they have been, like, because now all of a sudden there's this group of people who has known about possible demon cult, worshippers active in the city, and the Temple of Sigmar hasn't been informed. Like, they haven't been able to address it or do their own investigation. And, it's just been kind of like a group of people doing it. And so immediately that's going to, like, cast suspicion over that group of individuals.
Okay, for sure that's an issue, but I thought the presence of demons was fairly clear. Like, was that not something people were aware of?
What do you mean specifically? I'm sorry.
Like demons popping up in the streets. That incident wasn't covered up.
It was, though.
Oh.
No, remember,
okay.
it was. That was very covered up by the temple.
Remember, I didn't mean we didn't cover it up from them.
Oh, no. Yeah, you guys were very clear, and you're, like, they weren't necessarily suspecting you of consorting with demons in this instance, and they've made that clear as much. But
yeah.
Just, like, the fact that multiple incidents have occurred, and, like, the temple has been attacked itself, granted that was you guys, and not the demons, but, like, yeah.
Being lumped in with Chester under any circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's mostly because, you guys have this information, and they were unaware of it, and now they're like, well, now we have to, like, figure this out. So it's mostly that. It's not necessarily because you guys are
we gotta purge you all.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they totally do that all the time. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
But not in this particular instance.
Yeah, sure. Police with superheroes.
Yep, absolutely. So that is occurring. That is a thing that is occurring. So my next thing is, Vi, you're still, like, regularly communicating with Petrov, right?
Even more so now that it's just the two of us left.
Yeah. So Vi and Chester, probably you guys have moved a couple times at this point because it's easier for the two of you to travel. Farron's no slouch at stealthing, but probably was, like, keeping you locked down a little more than you were used to. So you've probably moved a couple of times by now. And I think that probably one night Chester's, you're on watch, Chester, and you've noticed, because you're still, like, or I assume, Chester, are you still, like, on mission here? Like, are you still doing the thing that, like, you guys set out to do in the first place?
100%.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
It's how I'm taking my mind off of everything.
Right. Yeah, good. You've noticed a distinct increase in activity. And also you've noticed that there's never just, like, one, there's always a couple, 2, 3, 4 individuals that you've noticed kind of walking around doing things. And if you've explored the city at all, like overnight or whatever, you notice that their efforts are kind of concentrated on the in the religious district themselves. So that might cause some concern. Although what they're doing is unclear, as it always has been. And maybe at one point you find a dark alley, and you're able to, like, snatch one of the guys, and he puts up a fight, and end up you have to kill him, or he kills you. This dramatic, like, back and forth silent battle between the two of you. And eventually you kill him, and you search his things, his belongings, and you probably find a like holy symbol of Sigmar on him. I assume you bring that back to the group.
Yeah, I found it on his person. Was it noticeable, or did I have to search to find it?
It was, like, in a pocket of his.
So it was like a everyday carry sort of thing.
Yep.
So Chester has two thoughts about this. Either he's using it as a disguise, or he's actually part of the Church of Sigmar.
Mm-hmm.
Both could be really bad.
Yeah, both
So
options are not great.
Yeah, he brings it back to Vi real quick.
Okay. And Vi, he brings it back to you. How does that conversation go?
So Chester, you like just toss me the necklace or whatever?
Chester just walks into the room with it in his hand, and he's like, "Hey Vi, catch!" He just throws it over to Vi. I found this on someone who attacked me earlier. This doesn't look good.
Vi catches it and looks at it, and before she says anything about that, she goes, "You went hunting without me?"
Well, you're being crazy. I kind of had to.
I resent that statement. And I just kind of look at this. It's like, where exactly on his person was this? Was he wearing it?
It was just in his pocket, like he carried it every day.
If I look at it, does it look like old or new or worn or like he just got it?
I mean, it looks like a that's a good question. I would say it probably looks a little bit worn.
Okay, so like he's had it for a while, not like a new convert or to the
not
church.
like a new acolyte that has just come.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it looks like he's had it for some time, or at least it's been in existence for some time.
Sure. Yeah, no, this is not good news, Chester. I'm not really quite sure what that means for us or for our friends.
Yeah, it's a little scary. I'll be on the lookout, see if I find any more people with them, because they could be deep in the church, and our friends might need some help for once.
Oh boy. I think Vi just kind of leans back in her chair and kind of, tosses it back and forth between her two hands. And then I think she probably says something along the lines of, maybe we need to not stay put as much. I think we need to go out and see what we can see. Let's make this official.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's go. Chester's just like rubbing his eyes with his hands. He's so done. He wants to leave real bad at this point, but he decides that going with Vi on this would be the correct choice. Wrong correct choice, but correct choice.
And Vi is scarier than any group of assassins.
Way scarier.
Absolutely.
Way scarier.
Absolutely.
The tiny little girl is just so scary.
You've instilled some fear in Chester, so he's scared.
I mean, I'm pretty scared of Vi, so.
I mean, you should be, really. I mean, So yeah, I think that we're gonna go on some reconnaissance, like serious canvassing. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So both of you roll me an investigation check.
We all know how great we are at those.
I know, right? God.
It's funny, you all built stealthy characters, and you're like, hey, we want to do a lot of, like, intrigue and spy stuff, and nobody can fucking investigate shit.
I can.
We're all a bunch of dumbasses. Let's be real here.
I have a +6 in investigation.
All right, Vi.
I mean, it's not the worst, considering I have a -2.
I just got something going.
You have -2 when you got that?
Yes, I did.
How are we literally all just a bunch of dumbasses?
I'm not dumb. I
don't know, man. My intelligence is just not that great.
I'm not either. I literally have the highest intelligence, probably.
This is actually the second campaign in a row where you guys have just somewhat low intelligent characters.
It's like we make
What are you trying to say, Jordan?
My intelligence.
I'm
saying reflects our personalities. That's what he's saying.
No, I'm saying that you as players are very much smarter than your characters sometimes.
Yeah.
Good save. Good save.
I know. So here's the deal. So Vi, I think that with the two of you out scouting, maybe you eventually, maybe you're scouting like the church at one point, and you followed one of the guys that you suspect that you've seen come out of like one of the entrances, and you follow him and you see him go into the church, somewhat, I assume, confirming your suspicions of what may be going on. And then you see a different individual come out, and maybe you track him for a little bit, or one of you does, or whatever, and he goes back into like the sewer area. It was clearly a different person, though.
And we wouldn't have seen the other person come out at all?
Nope, you didn't see. I mean, the temple's big and has lots of underground portions.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so either like multiple people are clearly is what I'm trying to express here. Like,
yes,
it's not
it's not
just
one individual,
right.
One happenstance. Sure.
Yep, absolutely.
I would immediately tell Petrov that information, obviously.
All right, tell me what that sending sounds like.
Oh God. It would probably be something along the lines of sewer spies have infiltrated church. My apologies.
Sorry about your bad luck. So what
I think the first several words of whatever message you get back are mostly just like Kislevian cursing.
Yeah, just loud
absolutely.
Swears in my head.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got like, I don't know, 10 words left. Go ahead.
That sounds about right. Okay. I think the first thing that... Oh no, God. Do I tell... Basically the question now is that I'm struggling with is, do I tell Vi to tell the others, or do I try to keep them for... Well, do I keep this to myself because I'm afraid of what they'll do with that information?
So, I mean, like, the deal is, you know that you're going to be transported together at some point, so Vi perhaps won't need to tell the others. Because you guys are going to be, like, relocated together for, like, a few days before the actual Inquisitors arrive. But
right.
The real question is, did you tell Vi Inquisitors are on the way?
Yeah, that's fair. You know, on the one hand, she might run. On the other hand, maybe that would at least give them something else to chase. So yes, Petrov absolutely warns Vi that Imperial Inquisitors are on their way.
Yeah.
She already knows, doesn't she? She rolled a religion check.
Yes, but I rolled a 4, so even if you told me that, I still might not have the same level of panic that you wish I had.
I should be clear here. I had her roll that in the assumption that she was there, but she totally wouldn't have any idea that they were. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, Vi, you don't need to roll about Imperial Inquisitors. Like, that's, like, innately known to, like, highly religious individuals. Even though you're not, quote-unquote, highly religious, you're tied to a deity in some way. You definitely know about Imperial Inquisitors, and probably have had maybe a run-in or two with them before.
Yet I'm still alive, so it's good. Okay.
I'm invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vi turns invisible immediately.
Okay, yeah. So I would then go to Chester and be like, great, so it just got better. Petrov just said that, well, Inquisitors are now on the way to interrogate them.
Chester
The
goes,
silence.
Chester goes,
Yeah, exactly. Who? What?
So does that mean we're leaving? Yes, please. Yeah.
Vi stares at you in silence.
What are we gonna do?
If I knew, I would tell you, but I don't. I think that that church probably should just be blown sky high, but unfortunately, well, maybe we could do that, but let's not. Let's think of alternatives. Yeah, that's about where I'm at too.
Yeah,
Great.
okay, cool.
You just leave both Vi and Chester
Go
sitting there
team.
like, well, fuck. All right, great.
cool. So, do you guys want to take a quick little break here, and then we'll jump into the meeting of the minds when we come back?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Let's take a quick let's make it a little extended. Let's make it a 10-minute break. Be back at
So
5
8:05.
after the hour, depending on your time
Alright.
zone.
Hey.